Hello, good evening. This is Abel here, and you're watching another episode of the You Are Able video series where I invite and interview inspiring, motivational, and positive people to help lift us up. And tonight, my guest is from Singapore, and it's actually 9 p.m. her time, 8 p.m. my time here in Thailand. And let me introduce myself. I am Abel Wanamakok. I am your host for tonight. And I am an international presenter, past news anchor, and TV show host. And I love this kind of work. I love interviewing people. So I enjoy this type of connection and I enjoy learning this way from my guests as well. And I look forward to having you join me in tonight's chat, and I'm waiting for her to come in now. And I can see the Instagram is trying to let people know that I have started a live video and they're telling more people to join. So let me fix my hair a little bit and wait for Coach Ruch to come in. Hey Kunal, how are you? Good to see you. Madan Bindu, nice to see you again. Thank you so much for joining. How are you, Gunal? My friend tonight, my guest is Coach Ruch. Okay, she's here now, so I'm going to get her in, and she is coming in from Singapore. So thank you so much for joining us and for being here with us. I hope that you'll stay and listen to our half an hour chat. Hi!
Hello.
How are you?
Very good. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me here, Abel.
Thank you so much. Looking beautiful, and I'm trying to look a little bit prettier
You look lovely.
than I did earlier. But I'm very happy to finally talk to you, kind of in person, not exactly, but
Not on the phone. Yes.
Yeah. And I know it's 9 p.m. over there, so it's a little bit late for you, but it is 8 o'clock here. Hello, Anthony. Thank you so much for joining. Now, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, if you don't mind, because you know yourself much better than me. But I wanted to invite all the guests to stay with us because Ruchi's topic tonight is something that is very important, and that's how to stand up for yourself. That is something that I have learned as well, child. But I'm going to call you Coach Ruch. I'm going to let Ruchi introduce herself and also about the topic that she's going to talk about.
Lovely. Thank you, Abel. So my name is Ruchi Parikh, and I'm an executive and a life coach. I'm also a trained lawyer. I am also a keynote speaker, and basically I help ambitious professionals achieve the life of their dreams and have it all. The thing is that ambitious professionals are go-getters, wanting it all. They may seem successful and very capable and everything on the outside, but on the inside, I have realized, and also this is after meeting and speaking to so many of them, they feel that something is missing. While juggling all the roles they play of being a career person, of being a parent, of being a child, of being a spouse, they lose themselves. And that leads to losing self-confidence. That leads to losing that trust in themselves. And that's what I do. I help them gain that trust back. I help them get their self-confidence back. I help them feel in control of their life, because they start feeling that life's just passing them by like a rat race. They've lost control over it, and that's what I help them do.
Right. Wow. I mean, I had a very brief chat with you when we were initially talking, and I have to praise Ruchi. She was already helping me in a very short time to kind of open my mind, because she speaks from experience, and I can hear it when she's talking about her line of work and things like that. So let me first start with the first question that I want to ask you now. Now, what is your experience that taught you to be responsible for excuse me, to tell you to be more assertive and to stand up for yourself? What experience did you have?
So most people don't believe it, but honestly, I was not a very confident girl. I had major self-esteem, self-confidence issues as a teenager, as an adult. In my 20s, I was very low on confidence. And that, really, I realize now, if I had that earlier, it would have helped me maybe lead my life differently. But I do not regret any of my experiences because they have made me what I am. The journey, the path I walked. So,
Right.
As how I learned to be more assertive, how I learned to stand up for myself, because I went through a period of time in my life where I was very young. I got married very young, and it was a bad marriage to begin with. And because I did not have the self-confidence, because I could not stand up for myself, I stuck around in that marriage for a long time. And the experiences that I went through, all the things that I could have avoided if I trusted myself better, would have been very different.
So your heart was telling you something, but you didn't listen to your heart. Is that correct?
I did not have the courage to listen. I knew what had to be done, but I did not have the courage. And that's what I want to, and honestly, Abel, it took me years to even speak about it. Years. It's taken me so many years because I kept feeling that people will judge me when I speak about having no confidence, about not being able to stand up for myself, about allowing people to mistreat me and not saying anything.
Wow.
So that's why it's like a mission I have, to reach out to people and say, when you see wrong, it's okay to say no. It's okay to prioritize yourself. It's okay to voice your opinion, even if it's making somebody else unhappy. Because your heart knows, your intuition knows.
Yes.
You know when someone's treating you wrong. You know when you're being mistreated, ill-treated. And when you don't listen to that voice stops talking to you. And my voice had stopped talking to me.
But now it's talking to you, obviously.
I made sure I started listening to it again.
Right.
That's how.
And I was really interested in asking you this question that is outside of our line of question. I hope you don't mind that. But
No problem.
How do you learn to not worry or care about how others see you or judge you? How did you learn to overcome that? Because I know a lot of women, including myself, still sometimes care or worry about how others see us. How did you learn to, overcome that?
Abel, I sometimes worry about it even now. And then I remind myself, we are all human. It's natural to worry about people judging you. It's very normal for you to question yourself, if I do this, what will somebody else think and say?
Yes.
The one thing that I think really helped me, and I want others to do the same, is ask myself first, is this going to make me happy or miserable? Can I trust myself? Can I love myself enough?
Right.
That it's okay if it's making me happy. Because I know I'm not doing something wrong. Many a times we don't do wrong, but we don't do it because we're worried it may be wrong in somebody else's eyes.
Oh, that limits us, doesn't it? That really limits what we want.
It's the biggest limiting belief most of us have. That somebody else doesn't approve. The world thinks this is wrong. Even if I think it's right, because the world is thinking it's wrong, I won't do it. And then I'm miserable inside. And that's what many of us do. We're miserable inside, but we're okay because the world is being happy or portraying to be happy. And I finally realized, I just want to end this, that I realized that whatever you may do And there's a lovely quote I read about it also. You may be the ripest, juiciest, yummiest peach in the world, but there will be someone who does not like peaches.
Ah,
You can do everything you want, but there will be people who don't like what you do. So stop trying to impress the world. Try impressing yourself for a change.
Right. Of course, of course. Now, this is another thing that I wanted to ask is I heard this from my friend just yesterday morning. She said, you know, we cannot control other people's thoughts. And I'm old enough now to know that I'm responsible for my own emotion. So why do we need to even stand up for ourselves? If we, you know, if we don't control other people's thoughts anyways, we know that, and we know that we're responsible for our own emotions. So why do we need to stand up for ourselves?
We need to stand up for ourselves to be able to respect ourselves in our own eyes. It always begins with you. Honestly, it's not even about the people around you. Standing up for yourself is telling yourself that I trust you, I have confidence in me. Telling yourself, I trust myself, I have confidence in myself, that I will do the right thing, even if it means making somebody else unhappy.
Right. So you need to do that for yourself. It's not for them. It's
not at all.
Right?
Yes. It's a journey you are walking for yourself.
Yes.
The important thing is that why do we include the world? Because we don't walk alone. We don't live alone. We live in a society. We live in a community. Yes. So it's important to take into account the people in your surrounding. You can't just disregard them. They are there. You're going to be living amongst them. So you can't totally disregard them.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I was telling myself that as well, is that I know that what I do is correct. What I said was from honesty and from courage. But what I said was too much information, and I was judged. And then I became afraid of how they're going to see me, what are the repercussions, what's going to happen when, you know, when they see me in a different light. And then I actually have to, I know myself, you know, I heard myself doing all of this. And I said to myself, no, Abel, you didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly.
You spoke from honesty, because my best friend said, you're too honest, Abel. You spoke too much. Like, you said too much. You shared too much. Maybe that's why I'm a presenter, you know. Maybe I'm a kind of a person. But I did. And I still, like I said, I still worry. Like, oh, why did that person do that to me? Why did they delete me as a friend on Facebook? Or, you know, then you start to let your mind question. Exactly. And you think, did I do something wrong? You start to doubt yourself. Did I do something wrong? Should I be ashamed? You know, these things.
I'm so glad you're speaking. I'm so glad you brought this up, because Abel, let me tell you this. Even when you're an old woman, this is going to worry you. It's not wrong worrying about it. It's not wrong questioning or thinking about another's judgment. What is wrong is digging deeper and going down that rabbit hole. It's natural. We are humans. It's natural to want to be loved, to be liked, to be popular. And when that does not happen, it affects us. At that moment, it is important. That is why it is so important to be confident and have self-confidence. Because when you have the self-confidence, you can remind yourself. Falling is not a problem. It's how quickly you can pick yourself up. Remind yourself it is natural to want everyone to approve. And if they don't, that's all right too. Because you don't want to be a jack of all trades. and a
Yeah.
master of none. You want to be able to, sorry?
No, you can't be a jack of all trades, though. I mean,
It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve you at all. You will
yeah, that's
always be disappointing someone. You'll always be letting people down when you're trying to impress everybody. So stop doing that. It's
right.
not going to serve you at all.
Exactly. Exactly. So this is like the perfect lead to the next question I want to ask. So can you, explain further what's the difference between being assertive and aggressive? And perhaps can you share some tips on how to stand up for yourself?
Absolutely. So the biggest difference between being assertive and aggressive is when you speak with assertiveness, it
Right.
involves respect for everyone. That is the biggest difference. It is being assertive is a communication skill that reduces conflict and builds self-esteem.
Right. Right.
Another very important key about assertiveness is that it doesn't you don't put the person in front of you on the offensive or the defensive. You
Right.
basically are taking responsibility for the situation, expressing your views that you're not happy about something, standing up for yourself, all along with respect. That is the key there. And a few tips to stand up with assertiveness, because very often people are not standing up for themselves because they worry that they'll be seen as aggressive. They don't want that conflict. They don't want the people to not talk to them, to have fallouts with family and friends.
Right.
Having said that, it's not like when you start becoming assertive, suddenly everyone's going to approve. They may not. But
no.
ultimately, I think they will, because when the person realizes that there is respect involved, it makes a very big difference.
Right.
And for tips, I would like to share, but the first important thing is when you decide to do anything different, you need to first work on your mindset. You need to convince your brain that it's okay to make these changes. The key is to have a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. Let me tell you what a growth mindset is. A growth mindset is the belief that skills, talent can be changed, are malleable through effort and perseverance. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity. We can all change, we can all become smarter. Our brains are like a muscle that can be, improved. So when you want to make a change, you decide you want to stand up for yourself, you need to be able to tell your mind and yourself that this is right, there's nothing wrong with it. Right. And how to do it? The first thing is practice. Practice not only makes perfect, but I like to believe practice makes progress.
Yes, for sure.
It does. And
totally agree.
You could practice a little bit of being assertive with people you're close to, who won't judge you, who won't get offended, and you can tell them that I'm trying to change my way of being, and I'm going to try it with you, and I don't want you to be offended. Another way of doing it, which is my favorite, is the I message. Now, what is the I message? This is something that I share with all my clients.
Okay.
When you start a statement with I, it immediately puts the responsibility on you.
Right.
Okay. It doesn't put the other person on the offensive. You take responsibility for what's happening in the situation. I'll give you an example. A you message is the aggressive one. An I message is an assertive one. If I were to say, you should not be doing that, it's aggressive. On the other hand, if I say, I prefer if you didn't do that.
Okay.
You can hear the difference in the language,
yes,
in the tone, in my message. Yes. When you want to stand up with assertion, use the I message.
Mm.
And another very important thing, I think, which is the key, avoid feeling guilty. So often,
I think that's so frequent.
it is all the time.
Yeah.
You stand up for yourself, you be assertive, and then you will feel miserable because you're feeling guilty. You may have hurt the person in front of you. All you did was voice your opinion, share your view. So it's okay. If you know you didn't do anything wrong, you need to get rid of that guilt.
Right. I think what you said earlier is that you speak with respect to others. And I think that's very important because you can share your opinion without appearing to be very aggressive, because you can be very firm, but still be kind. I mean,
Yes.
I know I can do that. I mean, I personally can be very firm, but I can still be kind. You know,
Exactly.
in my
That's the I message. Start
yes.
your sentences with the word I. It instantly helps in taking responsibility rather than putting the person in front of you on the offensive.
Right, right. Because it's easy, obviously, for the, you know, our primitive mind, our autopilot, it's easy to blame others for whatever it is that's outside. But it is more mature, like you said, and more responsibility when we accept that it is our responsibility to love ourselves, to share our opinion. We may not be right in other people's eyes, but we're just sharing our opinion. Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is,
So
if it's a problem, it's our responsibility to fix it. Take that responsibility with whatever, you know, burden or baggage it comes with. Take the responsibility that you will fix. Very often problems are not fixed because we are always blaming everyone else to try and change, and they are not changing. Why should they? It's our problem and we need to change. That's when, you know, that's what many people don't do. They're not ready to accept. It's a mantra I use. Again, I'm always sharing this with my clients. We run our lives on the mantra of outside in, which means that whenever something changes in our environment, the people, we get affected. Now, the problem with life is that it's constantly changing, which means that you are constantly getting affected. Instead, if you use the mantra of inside out, which means that you focus so much on yourself, you focus, you love, you give so much love and care and attention to yourself, that mystically your environment starts reflecting it. It happens. Like it literally happens. You're like a magnet pulling that energy into you, like the one you're giving out, which is one of feeling loved, feeling confident, and then the external environment and its changes don't affect you as much. And that's what we need to try and achieve and accomplish in our lives. Just inside out, not outside in.
Right. Because what our minds can create is what we can create ourselves. I don't think I said that correctly, or I did it for some other coaches, but you create your reality.
Yes, you do. You're absolutely right in this. Your thoughts and your words become your reality. We run our lives with the stories we tell. The narratives in our mind is what builds our life. Change the script if your life's not going as per plan. It's time to change your script, time to change that narrative. And again, by taking responsibility inside, not looking outside for it. You have all the answers in you. The day you realize that, you will be so much happier. I think that was a turning point for me in my life. When I realized that I have all the answers in me. If I want my life to change, I need to change. And it did work. It worked beautifully for me.
That takes a lot of courage And courage does take time to cultivate. But when you take the chance to step over that line of fear, that's when you will see that the light at the end of the tunnel, I think, because it's not as dark as you imagine it to be. So we just really need to just take one step at a time and
Always. Baby steps.
To live our best lives for ourselves. You know?
Absolutely. Winter always turns to spring. Winter has never moved on to winter. And it's a saying in Japan, the harsher the winter, the better the cherry blossom, which is the cherry blossom time where everyone goes to Japan in springtime. It's better when the winter is stronger. So remind yourself, you want to bloom like the cherry blossom, allow yourself to go through the harsh winter.
Wow. That's really, really beautiful. And you're definitely speaking from wisdom. And I want to say thank you so much.
I speak from experience.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I can hear that. Is there any questions from the audience before we go? I know I did ask this earlier, but again, I'm speaking with Coach Roach from Singapore. She is also a fellow speaker from the Woman Keynote Directory. And I'm so honored and so happy to have the chance to interview her. And she's definitely somebody who has something very important to share. This video is recorded and it will be uploaded onto my website, which is findyourvoice.asia. And I hope that you will go and take a look there. I'm a presenter coach, so I help people to communicate better, to have more confidence in the way that they speak, and to present themselves in better ways, whether you are a professional speaker or an entrepreneur or even a student. So perhaps there's something that I can do to help you in the future. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was totally my pleasure.
Yeah, and please stay in touch with me. And would you like to help with your website?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Would you like to tell people how they can contact you, perhaps?
Yes, absolutely. My website is called ruchiparik.com. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram. My handle is coach.ruch and Coach Ruch on Facebook. So please reach out. You can always book in a free 15-minute exploratory session with me to understand better how coaching works, how coaching can change your life and make you live your best life.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It was lovely talking to you, Ibu.
Lovely talking to you too. And you have a wonderful evening in Singapore. And stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you. Stay safe in Bangkok, in Thailand too. Phuket, sorry, Phuket.
No, that's okay. Come and visit when you can.
Whenever this opens.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.